Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Brickazoid Zen. So today we have another Owl House episode, and this one was pretty good, pretty solid. Honestly, I enjoyed watching it. Um, and this episode is all about Hexside, actually, which is pretty cool. We haven't really got too much Hexside this season, or this, I guess, season 2B, this part of the season. Um, and this is all about Hexside preparing for the Day of Unity. We got everybody kind of learning about it, and there was also a new Coven Head introduced here, Adrien Gray, who we'll talk about later, and he was there to try and get everybody's sigil, or everybody to have a sigil, even like the students at Hexside, for when the Day of Unity comes, and basically all the witches are going to be executed, which is crazy. So that's even crazier that Belos wants to do that to children witches too, or student witches as well, which is crazy. But yeah, I can definitely with this episode specifically, I can definitely feel the anticipation and nervousness of the Day of Unity with the Day of Unity coming. Like I'm getting kind of nervous. I'm very excited to see what happens, but I'm getting a little nervous because some characters that we maybe fan favorites. Like I'm a big fan of Principal Bump. I love his character so much, and he has a sigil, so I'm worried he's gonna die, and I'm like very very worried because of course the season 2 finale, the description for the episode is the Day of Unity begins. So if the Day of Unity begins, my guess is that that's when the sigils are starting to become like that virus that like takes over witches. And I'm worried Principal Bump is going to be a part of that, or any other character who may have a sigil already. Um, so that is something to look out for, and that is something that's very nerve-wracking, but very exciting to see either way. But yeah, this episode was pretty good. This kind of course, we ended, or last week's episode was about losing King, and also Hootie, kind of going and learning about King's heritage, or I guess fake heritage really, and learning that he's a Titan. But now we're kind of taking a different perspective of other people preparing for the Day of Unity, and just kind of building that anticipation. Really, that's what this whole episode I think was really about, as well as a lot of Gus, Willow, Amity, and as well as Hunter in here as well. Just kind of all of them kind of being friends and helping Gus through his troubles. I guess we'll talk about that in the breakdown of the episode. You know, there's a pretty good amount of stuff here to talk about. So we will get into that, but yeah, I guess we'll just go right into it right now. So we are going to start here with our opening for this episode, and actually, before I continue, the episode's called Labyrinth Runners. So I just want to throw that in there, of course. But yes, we're going to start with our opening here, and we basically see a flashback to young Gus being bullied at Hexside because he's like the new kid at Hexside. And then we also see young Willow, or like flashback Willow, I guess, helping young Gus to stop hearing the voices of his bullies in his head with like this breathing technique that comes into play later on in the episode. But this was a cool little flashback moment where we got to see young Willow and young Gus. It was also very interesting that, of course, at this time, Willow would have been a part of the Abomination track. So we kind of saw Willow trying to like make an abomination that didn't really look too great compared to some of the other ones that we've seen before. But definitely good that Willow was in the plant track. That is definitely a good thing because those abominations were not really working for her. But yeah, that was a good little opening just to kind of set us up for this technique, this breathing technique that comes into play later on in the episode. And just kind of seeing that Gus has been kind of through some stuff with bullies and other things like that. So now we're going to get into the main plot of the episode here. Alrighty, so plot A. We got to start off. This was just a couple quick notes that I wanted to add here. We saw in the very beginning of this episode, Bartholomew is now at Hexside, and he seems to be doing, is it Illusionist and Construction, I think? I believe that's what he was going for, I believe. And then Adrien is also a part of the Potions Coven now, because that was kind of set up in one of the previous episodes. Don't remember which one. Was it the sports? No, not the sports one. Was it Them's the Break? No, I don't remember which one. But either way, it was one where Amity and like was doing like the fighting at the witches' duel or something like that. And Adrien was kind of shown to be pretty good at potion making, and now he's a part of the potions track. So he's going to be doing illusions and potions. Oh my god, I can't talk today. So the illusionist teacher talks about how she gave up everything for the illusion track, and it's nice to see students embracing multi-tracks, because of course that referring to Adrien and Bartholomew. Now, this is actually a little interesting quote. I actually took this out of the episode because I usually don't take out quotes, but the illusionist teacher says she gave up everything. That's crazy how, you start off maybe by learning a few different kinds of magic. Like you can learn how to make potions, you could learn beastkeeping, you could learn abomination, but then, once you're assigned to a sigil, you're just stuck there. You're using that same kind of magic no matter what. And that just shows how restricting Belos really is, and how he's like just taking away people's free will to do whatever kind of magic they want, and being free witches basically. So that's just, I don't know. I was very that quote made me rewind, and I'm like, wait, what'd she just say? How she gave up everything. That's crazy. So, anyways, then a cloaked illusionist head coven leader comes in, and this is kind of like the first glimpse that we kind of get to see of him, of this character, Adrien Gray. We learn his name a little later, but he's like cloaked up and stuff. And then we kind of cut to Luz has told Amity about what she found with Belos, sort of, kind of just more like a cryptic message saying that there's a lot of bad stuff happening. The Day of Unity is coming. Don't trust the Day of Unity. Like be very careful, kind of deal. And Willow was going to capture one of the Coven Scouts surrounding the Owl House, but didn't. Amity then makes a comment saying that the Coven Scouts are tough, which is not the reason why Willow did not capture one. Willow just didn't want to attract any attention to Ida or the Owl House really anymore. And it seems like their friendship is still mending. And this is kind of like a little side plot that gets resolved fairly quickly, so it's nothing too crazy, but there is like just that some mending in their friendship that still needs to be done, because they haven't really started hanging out with each other as much as they used to. You know what I mean? Because of course their history is very complicated, to say the least. So that was, yeah. Amity was a little weird this episode, but I kind of get where she was coming from. So while Amity and Willow leave, Gus sees Hunter's Palisman come out of the trash and fly away. Gus chases him and finds that Hunter is hiding out in the Hexside Paranoratorium. Yeah, that was weird to write down. I like looked at the sign. I'm like, what does that say? But now I kind of get it. Anyways, the principal bump is calling for like a school assembly in the gym or whatever. I think it was the gym. And Adrien Gray is the head of the Illusionist Coven, and he's like presenting himself, saying that Belos wants multi-track learning to stop, and wants to put all students in an official track before the Day of Unity, meaning that they're going to get the sigils, and basically this means that he wants to kill all the student witches, which is kind of crazy. I mean, of course, that's his big plan, is to just eradicate mainly all witches, and, students count too, so he's got to do it, which is crazy. And then Gus catches that Adrien Gray is hiding behind an illusion. So basically what happened was Edric was taken up because he was a multi-track character, and basically Adrien Gray was making this like fake, how would I say this? Making this like fake scenario where he's going to try and help the students by making an illusion of a sigil on their arms, but it's really going to be like an actual sigil to stop them from doing multi-track magic and actually lock them in to be killed during the Day of Unity, basically. And Gus catches that Adrien Gray is hiding behind this illusion, but it ends up being a bunch of Coven, or Emperor's Coven guards that kind of appear out of nowhere, and Adrien Gray as well pops out, and we see the real version of Adrien Gray, who's much more annoying, to say the least. He was not my favorite Coven head yet. I think there's other better ones, but this one, he's still kind of interesting. He's just kind of like annoying, but I think that's what he's meant to be. Because he starts kind of like critiquing the guards' performances as illusion character. I don't know. It was a whole thing. But anyways, before Gus is able to be locked into a coven, he creates a strong illusion covering the whole room and ends up covering most of the school as well. Hunter grabs Gus and escapes with him away from Adrien Gray. And then Adrien Gray admires Gus's illusionist work. So that, because the gym gets caught in like an illusion of the illusionist graveyard, and Adrien Gray starts like admiring how detailed the illusion really is. So that was very interesting, just showing how strong Gus really is at illusions and how he's meant to be in this track. So there's a giant illusion around the whole school that Gus put up, basically, and he has like a white, one of a regular eye and like a blue eye, which is pretty cool. So Willow and Amity run through Gus's illusion and end up in a carnival kind of looking area, And it seems that Amity is not understanding that Willow is a strong witch, because she keeps saying things like lucky shot and like, oh, good job, you know what I mean? And Willow just like doesn't want to be protected. Willow just wants to show that she is a strong witch, just like Amity. So Gus talks with Hunter about why Hunter saved him, and he doesn't really give too much of an answer. You know what I mean? Because he's kind of like, I've been out on the run, kind of things like that. The Emperor Belos is, hunting after me. He's not saying anything like that. He's just kind of denying or dissing it a little bit more. And Hunter or these two guards show up. These two Emperor Coven guards show up, and Hunter talks with them. And the guards say that Belos is worried about Hunter, and Belos sent out a search party for him. Obviously, the Emperor Coven guards are not too intelligent, as Belos wants to send out this search party for him to kill him, really, to grab him and then end up executing him. So it seems like Belos' own guards don't really know what's going on with the Golden Guard, I guess you could say. So that's interesting. Hunter starts freaking out, but Gus calms him down with that same breathing technique that Willow used from the opening. And then Gus tries to talk with Hunter about his situation, but Hunter does not want to, but it seems like he wants to be friends with the group either way. Amity and Willow are unable to work together, and Amity wants to protect Willow, but Willow does not need protection. Willow just wants to show how strong of a witch she really is, like I said previously. Gus is then tricked by an illusion of Willow. Hunter figures it out, and then Hunter and Gus run away from Adrien Gray, but an illusion of Belos causes Hunter to stop and get captured, really. Hunter is put to sleep while Gus is captured by Adrien Gray. Hunter wakes up in the healing homeroom where the rest of the students are, and nobody really trusts him. Willow believes Hunter because of what Gus did with the breathing, because he kind of talks about the breathing technique, and Willow's like, oh yeah, I recognize that. Hunter is telling the truth. Amity now respects Willow's strength. Adrien Gray interrogates Gus about where the Illusionist graveyard is so that he can get some Golder Stones or something like that as like a gift for Belos. And then we kind of see this really cool fight of Hexside students versus Emperor Coven guards. Gus is trapped in his own head, and Adrien Gray is trapped in Gus's head too. And Amity and Willow fight this automaton while Hunter goes through illusions of his own memories and Gus's memories to try and save Gus. Hunter helps Gus and becomes his friend. Gus takes Adrien Gray's Illusionist mirror thing, which I'll talk about later. Hexside defeats the Emperor's Coven guards, and Hunter explains the Day of Unity to the people of Hexside. So yeah, there's a lot that happened in this episode. I want to kind of talk about some theories and different things that we could see for the future episodes of the Owl House as we kind of continue on, because there's some little things that might be important later on. And I want to go into further discussion of this episode, as well as taking a look at some little things that I noticed in this episode as well. So first off, I want to talk about Gus having Adrien Gray's Illusionist little mirror thing, which I believe he explained that it can go into people's memories and he can view them through illusions or something along those lines. I don't know exactly what he said. I'd have to go back through the episode and look. But now Gus has that, and it has to come into play later on. There's a reason why he has that little mirror thing and why he's such a strong illusionist character. As we saw, he put an illusion over most of Hexside, which is pretty crazy. So that mirror thing definitely has to come back into play. Then I also want to talk about Adrien Gray. Not my favorite Coven Head Leader. Not my favorite of the ones that we've seen so far. There are still a few more that we really haven't taken a look at, and I hope each one gets an episode to really shine. But again, we only have 1, 2, 3 more episodes till the finale, so I don't know about that. I think we haven't really. I don't know. No, actually, I don't remember how many Coven Heads we still need to take a look at. But either way, you get the point. This one was not one of my favorites, Adrien Gray. He was very annoying, kind of critiquing all these Emperor Coven guards. But again, I think that's what he was supposed to be, just like this annoying character. But yeah, no, he was whatever. But I think he's probably going to be a one and done, because it seems like he is just absolutely taken down by Gus's illusion that he did, like this illusion thing that he did at the end of the episode where he had to be broken out of his own head. And Adrien Gray got caught in that. So again, he seems like he is down for the count for a little while. So he won't be coming back anytime soon. I also want to talk about, it seems Amity and Willow's friendship has now kind of been mostly taken care of. They're now, there's going to be no more awkward moments of Amity saying, oh, nice job, lucky shot, oh, good one, you got him there, because Willow was really able to prove to Amity that Willow does not need protection. Willow is a strong witch on her own. I also want to talk about, let's see, Adrien in the Potion Coven, Bartholomew at Hexside being in the Illusionist Coven as well. So we have some more multi-tracks going on here. Of course, Belos wants to stop that and put everybody under, a sigil so that he can kill them during the Day of Unity, basically. And that's obviously not good. He went after students. That's kind of screwed up. After children, that's weird, or not weird, but that's definitely something that Belos would do just so he can enact his revenge on everybody, on all the witches that I don't know what bullied him. Really, I don't know. But anyways, I wonder if the Galder Stones are gonna come back into play, because Adrien Gray did kind of talk about them when he was looking at the illusion of the Illusionist graveyard. I don't know if they're gonna come back into play. I think those were. I don't remember. I'm trying to think of the Grimwalker recipe. I don't know if you need a Galder Stone for that. Yeah, I don't know if you need a Galder Stone for that, but either way, um, I don't know. I mean, Adrien Gray kind of talked about it like, oh man, I would love to get a Galder Stone for Belos. It's a great gift for him or something along those lines. But, yeah, I don't know if those are going to come back to play or if the Illusionist Graveyard really is going to come back into play at all. Because, I mean, there was that whole thing at the end of the Illusionist Graveyard episode where the Gravekeeper was talking with Bartholomew and Gus about coming back and kind of cleaning the area up and or trying to maintain the whole graveyard because it's so important to so many, or I guess to Gus really, because he's a very strong illusionist. So yeah, I don't know if that's ever gonna come back into play, but that was just kind of something I noticed that I'm like, oh, maybe this could be something that comes back into play for maybe like Belos tries to use them to make some sort of illusion to trap people or something. I don't know. Just kind of having my mind run wild here. But other than that, there wasn't too much. I mean, again, it's just that anticipation that the Day of Unity is coming and it's coming quick. At this point, I think we have like less than a week. I want to say in the show. I mean, less than a week till the Day of Unity really happens, and things are going to start ramping up really quick. I know next week's episode is about Ida, Luz, and I think King kind of preparing for the Day of Unity, and then there was also like King has to prepare or understand who he really is, which he's a Titan, of course, which is crazy. And I think it's called, that episode is O Titan, Where Art Thou? And that's going to be the next one. So, again, more preparation for the Day of Unity until the finale where the Day of Unity begins, and then maybe, I want to say maybe like a year, or not a year, but maybe like a few months later, we're probably going to get Season 3, where we have those 3 45-minute episodes of the entirety of the Day of Unity, I guess, or defeating the Day of Unity, really. So that is very exciting. Cannot wait for that, but I can definitely start to feel things building. So there you have it. That is the Labyrinth Runners episode of the Owl House. Now, I do know that Amphibia comes out later tonight at 8 p.m., I believe. So I'm going to have to... man. It might be a little late when that one comes out. It might be more like... It might be actually like Sunday. I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to be able to release the Amphibia episode, because I am seeing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness tonight. So I'm not going to get back until late. Then I'm going to have to watch the episode, which is 48 minutes long. Then I'm going to have to record. I'm going to have to take notes, record, edit, and then upload. So that's probably going to take me a little bit. So I don't know. It'll probably be really late when that video comes out, or I might even release it Sunday morning. Depends on how tired I end up being when I get back. So yeah, that's kind of the plan there. I'm still thinking about how I'm going to do it for Amphibia, because again, that episode's kind of long. So, but yeah, either way, there's our Owl House episode for this morning. If you enjoyed that video, do the common YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.